Are you a fan of Adventure Time and more specifically Princess Bubblegum? Because me too, but I'm also a character designer, and as much as I love Princess Bubblegum's design, I think it would be a fun little exercise to try to redesign her. But not just like one redesign, I want to redesign her 5 times. Just because I came up with some pretty funny concepts and I want to see them play out. But yeah, obviously this is no hate to the OG design. Adventure Time is like my favorite show, and I draw Princess Bubblegum so much already. I already like give her new outfits all the time and stuff, but I've never given her a full redesign. I actually really love her design already, but there are a few pieces on her that kind of confuse me. I think the first thing that stands out is that her crown has never really made too much sense to me. Like, I don't think it's meant to be overthinked. Like, I don't think Pendleton Ward was overthinking when he drew the crown on, and that's just what stuck when the series began actually being made. But I've always felt like the crown was a little bit out of place. I feel like I wanted a little bit more of like some bubbles and round stuff. I feel like I wanted some more like round shape language to go along with the whole like bubble part of Bubblegum. And also just personality wise, Princess Bubblegum is notoriously like a scientist, and she's also kind of like a military figure, so I wanted to incorporate that into her new outfit, kind of make her look a little bit nerdier and just fit her personality a little bit better. So yeah, I'll show you what I came up with for the first redesign of like her original design. Does that make sense? Basically, the first redesign I did was just based off of her OG design, and then the other designs are gonna get crazier and crazier. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. And also subscribe if you want to, because I want to do a bunch more redesign videos like this. So first of all, I had all these concepts come to me when I was doodling in my sketchbook the other day. I just went in with pen and alcohol marker and did a few concepts for these redesigns. And out of all the weird redesigns, this original redesign was actually the hardest one for me. I could not decide on like her hair in specific, because on one hand I drew like 2 little bubblegum buns on each side of her head, because I was thinking that would be like a more practical hairdo for her, would be like up and out of her face. And also sticking with like the round shape language, I thought it looked really good. But then I also drew her with her hair down, and I just love her long hair. It's totally like a subjective thing for me personally, but I absolutely love drawing her long hair. So I kind of teetered towards doing that instead, even though the hair up would have been more practical. I also gave her her cute like science glasses that she wears while she's in the lab, and I tried to add in a few more like circles throughout the design for the round shape language. I also gave her some freckles, which admittedly is not the most practical addition to the design, but I just think that they're cute. And lastly, I switched up the crown and just made it a little pink bubblegum gem instead. I don't know about you, but I personally really love like monochrome designs where everything's one color or as little color or just as little colors as possible, especially when it's pink, because that's my favorite color, duh. But yeah, I guess I'll just throw in a quick disclaimer here that I don't think that my design is better at all than like the OG one. I'm just doing this for fun as like a character design exercise, so if you like the OG design better, that's totally fine. I probably do too. But yeah, I just wanted to challenge myself to something new here. So yeah, here is the finished OG redesign. As you can see, like in her outfit, I tried to go more like science-y / military. I really love that one episode where she's wearing like a power suit, so I tried to channel that vibe. So yeah, kind of just made the redesign a little bit more nerdy overall, and had her outfit be a little bit more practical for like her science experiments and stuff, and also just more of that bubble shape language. So there's redesign number 1, and the rest of them are gonna get more and more unhinged, because essentially I was sitting down at my sketchbook and making these concept designs, and I was like, okay, when I think of bubblegum, like what comes to mind? And I guess I started thinking about like what other flavors of gum there are, and I feel like spearmint is like the classic flavor that everybody chews so their breath smells good. So I thought it'd be cute to make like a spearmint or like a minty version of Princess Bubblegum. So the main inspiration for this design was like the little sticks of gum with like a little metallic wrapper, and then on the inside is like the stick, obviously. So I incorporated more of like silver tones into this design to represent the metallic wrapping, and then I stuck to this like seafoam minty green for her skin and her hair. And I also added in some little like dots and glitter for texture. Yeah, this design is definitely more just like for visual fun. I didn't really incorporate like her personality into the rest of the designs as much, and I instead saw these as like completely separate characters and kind of just doing a spin-off based off of like the visual gag of it all. So yeah, for the spearmint Princess Bubblegum, I also included a few leaves throughout the design to represent the mint, and I also incorporated more rectangle shape language to represent the stick of gum. I gave her a bit of side bangs with that, and for her crown I kept the original like shape overall, but then I switched out the little gem to be like a minty green, and I added some leaves as accents on it. So here is the reveal of Princess Spearmint Bubblegum or whatever. I actually really love this design. So here's the lineup so far with the OG Princess Bubblegum and the Spearmint version. And so continuing on with like what I was thinking while making the concept sketches, I was trying to think of like other types of gum that I've tried before, and then I had like a nostalgic flashback to those types of gum that are like rolled up in a little plastic container, if that makes sense. But yeah, I totally remember bringing like little containers of this gum in elementary school, so I wanted to incorporate these containers and stuff inside of the next Princess Bubblegum redesign. So obviously lots of like swirly shape language in this one, and incorporating the rolled up stick of gum like in her hair. I thought of like adding the dispensers in her hair as like giant like side buns, if that makes sense, and then having the stick of gum kind of like rolling down. Again, I stuck to more like wrapping shape language. My mind kind of went to like a bandage dress with the way that the stick of gum could like wrap around her, and then I kind of gave her a little tail on the dress that curls around to represent the stick of gum again. So yeah, I feel like this redesign is the one that's like second closest to the original design. This one's just like super nostalgic and cute. I really like how she turned out. Yeah, this is definitely not the most like practical design to animate. Like I would not want to be stuck animating this one, but it's fun just for a concept, so whatever. So moving on to the last two designs, these ones are definitely the most like kind of unhinged. They're still cute, but they're definitely like deviating enough from the original design where like you probably wouldn't be able to tell that it's supposed to be Princess Bubblegum. So again, I was thinking like what comes to mind when I think of bubblegum, and what I thought of was just like gumball machines. So I essentially made a Princess Bubblegum gumball machine design for this one, and I was trying to stay away from like copying Benson from regular show too much, and I also wanted to change up like the actual dispenser part of like, I don't know, I didn't want to like bring the same vibe as like Benson's gumball dispenser into this like cutesy design. Like I just wanted to keep it wholesome. So yeah, I put the actual like glass bubblegum machine on top of her head as like a bun, and then I just made the dispenser like in her midsection. And then I was looking at reference photos of gumball machines, and a lot of them are like retro, and the stand on them has this cool like spring decoration going down, so I added that onto her legs and then tried to make her shoes like the platform of the gumball machine. So yeah, this design is definitely the most like colorful out of all of them. This again would be super annoying to animate, but just for a fun redesign, it's fine. But yeah, while I was drawing this, I was reminded of that one episode where she's an insane military leader and she rules over those gumball machine soldiers. I forget their names, but then one of them escapes and like lives in a junkyard. Do you guys remember that episode? Here is the redesign of this gumball Princess Bubblegum. The names of these concepts are so bad. Gumball Princess Gumball Machine? I don't know. While I was doing this one, I was also thinking about like how many gumballs and like gum inspired stuff there was in like earlier Cartoon Network with like Princess Bubblegum, Benson, and The Amazing World of Gumball. Not really sure what was in the air back then, but I guess that was like a popular theme. But yeah, anyways, I think this one is definitely one of my favorite redesigns that I did out of this lineup. I love adding in some extra colors here. I know I said I loved monochrome earlier in the video, but I also love colorful stuff. But yeah, shout out to this little concept sketch I made for the gumball machine one, where just like her whole head is the machine and she's just bald. Like, I actually really liked this concept, but the only thing is that her eyes would be really hard to read on top of like all the busyness of like the background with all the gumballs going on. So I decided against it, but shout out to that design. Definitely wins some points for uniqueness. So yeah, moving on to the last design in this lineup, while I was doing my concept sketches, I was trying to think of like other gum-related candy and stuff, and then I remembered that those lollipops exist, where like once you get into the center of them, there's gum. I remember these were like pretty popular with me growing up. We'd like get them for Halloween and stuff, but yeah, that was the inspiration here. So yeah, for this one, I tried to incorporate like the lollipop wrapper around her head, and I tried to make her head like the central lollipop, obviously. So yeah, I did like the lollipop on the outside of her head and the actual gum on the inside to try to stay true to the original candy. And then I put like different lollipop sticks throughout the design, like out of her head, and I tried to make her legs a little bit more like twiggy to represent the lollipop sticks, and obviously just adding in a bunch of more like circle to stay on theme with the lollipops. Yeah, and I gave her like a little wrapper dress, which I thought was pretty cute. But yeah, I definitely am thinking that she's teetering more on the edge of being like a lollipop princess in this one, even though I was going for like the bubblegum lollipop. I don't know. Also, shout out to this funny concept sketch that I did while designing this one. This one looked like so goofy. But yeah, here is the lollipop Princess Bubblegum redesign. I think she's super cute. I really love the wrapper dress on her. And yeah, here is the whole lineup of all my Princess Bubblegum redesigns together. I tried to do a big variety of them, and I love how each one of them looks like a completely different character. If I had to pick a favorite, it's probably between the Gumball Machine one and Princess Spearmint, but I obviously do love the OG redesign as well. But yeah, these were super fun. Let me know what you think of the redesigns down below. And yeah, this is just like a super fun video concept. I want to do some more redesigns soon, so subscribe if you want to. I'll try to post more art videos as soon as I can, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.